If you're like me, you're sick and tired of making trips to the fridge for that cold drink. What I have here is a plastic planter box. I'm gonna build it into a wooden table, and I'm gonna show you how to build that table. Everyone's planter box is gonna be a little bit different, so you're gonna wanna take a measurement of the length. You wanna make sure you include the top of the lip. This is where your piece is gonna sit if you wanna hide the inside of the cooler. You're gonna head over, grab a 2x6, and make a couple cuts. Okay, so we got our first 2x6 cut. Now we're gonna cut 4 2x4s that are gonna sit on each side. They're gonna be the exact same length as the piece you just cut. So we've cut 4 2x4s that are the exact same size as your centerpiece. 2 2x4s on one side, 2 2x4s on the other side. This is your centerpiece that's gonna be removable. Make sure it's nice and tight. Take a quick measurement. Now we're gonna grab 2x6s, put one on one side, one on the other side. Okay, we've got everything lined up nicely. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing again, repeat it, but now on the outside with 2x6s again. Our last pieces we're gonna cut are our end pieces. We're gonna take a measurement of those, make the cuts. We're giving the top of our boards a nice sand. Make sure you get rid of all the rough edges. This is gonna be the top of our table. Then we're gonna flip the whole thing over and work on our pocket screw. Okay, we've had our whole table sanded down. The top is done. What we're gonna do now is flip the whole thing over, make sure you keep all of your pieces in the same order, and we're gonna grab the pocket jig and screw it all together. If you don't have a pocket jig, you can always just take a screw and just toenail it in from the side. Whatever you do though, don't screw from the top. You want those screws to be hidden. Now I've taken out my template piece here. You don't want to put a screw into it by accident. Just keep everything lined up. Mark your holes every couple of inches, work your way outside. I'm using a little clamp here just before I put my screw in. That's gonna hold my wood nice and flush. Make sure everything is lined up properly. Grab your pocket screw. Nice and easy. Okay, so we got all of our pocket screws in. The underside should look something like that. Looks good. Next, we're gonna build the frame that's gonna hold the legs. Take a 2x4, just lay it out right on the edge. Describe a line. We're gonna do that for all 4 sides, and then we're gonna move it to the inside, drill more pocket screws, and mount it. Then our 4x4s are gonna sit in the corner of each piece. Okay, so our frame is going together nicely. Now we're gonna put this together and attach it with pocket screws. Okay, so we got our frame built. Before we attach it to the table, we're gonna give it a quick sand. All right, let's get this thing screwed in, work on our cooler. So we're mounting the planter box to the bottom side of our table now. We're using a number 10 screw. It's only ½ an inch long, so you don't have to worry about it going through the boards. And when you put it in, make sure it goes into your 2x4 and not the 2x6 that's in the center of the table. We're gonna take galvanized strapping and run that over the planter box and screw it in, and that's gonna hold the weight of the ice and the drinks. Okay, so we have our strapping in place. It's not going anywhere now. I'm gonna install a tap. It's gonna save you from having to cup the water out at the end and throw it out. We're gonna install it right in the side. We're gonna attach it with screws on each side, put a little bit of silicone there so it doesn't leak. Okay, so now we have our silicone done. We have our center board that goes in here, but it's gonna be tough to get that out without a little hole in it. So we're gonna drill a little hole in the center just so you can get your finger in to lift it out. So we're not using the cooler. We put the centerpiece in, use it as a full table. Our 4x4s are gonna sit in all 4 corners of our table. Tables are roughly 30 inches off the ground, minus the thickness of our boards. I'm gonna cut these at about 27 inches. So they're gonna sit in the corners of our table. We're gonna take 3-inch deck screws and put 2 through each side. We're gonna use a countersink bit, put them in so you don't see the holes, and then we're gonna use plugs to cover it up, a flush saw, make it nice and smooth. All right, we've got everything sanded down. The only thing missing from this is a nice finish. Let's flip it over and give it a stain. It looks like I may have just saved myself a few trips to the fridge. For Cottage Life Simplified, I'm Adam Holman.